Welcome to Eyam, a peaceful village nestled in the Derbyshire Dales, charming stone cottages, lush rolling hills, a tranquil churchyard. But behind its beauty lies a tragedy so deep, so harrowing, that it's said the very land remembers. This is the village that chose death to save others, and the dead may never have left. In this video, we walk the haunted paths of Eyam, England's most haunted village. These are the ghosts of Eyam. In 1665, a bolt of cloth arrived in Eyam from London, infested with fleas. Within days, the tailor's apprentice was dead, and so began one of the most extraordinary and heartbreaking episodes in English history. The villagers were faced with a choice: flee and risk spreading the plague, or stay and contain the death. Under the guidance of Reverend William Mompesson and Thomas Stanley, they chose isolation. 260 villagers, 14 months, nearly half would die, and today many believe their spirits remain. Elizabeth Hancock lost her husband and 6 children in just 8 days. Plague victims could not be buried in consecrated ground, so she dug their graves herself in a field outside the village, known today as the Riley Graves. She laid them to rest. Visitors report seeing a ghostly woman kneeling amongst the stones, her head bowed, her hands trembling. Some say they've heard weeping when no one is there. Others describe an overwhelming sense of grief and dread that follows them even after they leave. Is it just sorrow echoing through time, or does Elizabeth's spirit still keep vigil? These cottages are the beating heart of Eyam's sorrow. They're still inhabited today, but tales persist of shadows moving behind the windows, muffled sobbing, and pale figures seen watching from the upstairs rooms. One house, once home to the Hadfield family, is notorious. Mary Hadfield lost 13 relatives. A visitor reported seeing a woman in 17th century dress at the window, her hands pressed against the glass, only to find the house empty. Could it be that Eyam's plague dead do not rest in graves, but behind walls? St. Lawrence's Church was the centre of village life and death. Many plague victims were buried here, and some believe they never left. Cold spots plague the pews, even in summer. Worshippers report whispers, and in one chilling account, a visitor saw a plague doctor, full cloak, big mask, standing silently at the back. When she turned around, he vanished. Could this be a lingering echo of those who tried to help and died themselves? This ancient pub has welcomed travellers for centuries, and some may never have checked out. Staff at the Miners' Arms have heard heavy footsteps when no one's upstairs. Glasses fly from shelves, doors slam on windless nights. One former landlord hanged himself in the cellar. Patrons today speak of a gruff, muttering voice, heard only in the pub's darkest corners. Paranormal investigators have caught EVPs, and guests have fled in the middle of the night, claiming something watched them while they slept. Legend tells of a loyal dog who refused to leave his master's grave during the plague. To this day, some walkers near the Riley graves or the village edge report a phantom black dog trotting beside them, then vanishing into thin air. Sometimes it's seen sitting silently by the church wall, alert, waiting. In folklore, a black dog is often a harbinger of death, but in Eyam, this ghost may be a guardian. Catherine Mompesson, the rector's wife, could have left the village. She stayed. She brought comfort to the dying, helped the sick, and finally succumbed to the plague herself. Her grave lies just outside the church porch. Many report seeing her graceful spirit drifting through the gardens near the old rectory, described as radiant and calm. She is said to appear often to children or those mourning loved ones. Even in death, perhaps she still tends to the grieving. Ghost hunters and paranormal researchers have long been drawn to Eyam, from EVP recordings capturing unknown voices to unexplained lights in empty fields. One investigator, after spending a night in the Miners' Arms, fled at 3 AM, claiming something whispered her name over and over. Tourists on ghost walks have seen figures by candlelight, only to vanish as they draw near. Others describe a feeling of being watched from rooftops, or a sudden chill on their necks when reading the plague plaques. Why do so many ghosts remain at Eyam? Some say it's the trauma, the sacrifice, the sheer grief etched into the stone and soil. Others believe the spirits feel they have unfinished business, or perhaps they choose to stay, to guard the memory of what was done here. A village that chose isolation, that chose to die to save others. Their legacy is one of heroism, love and heartbreak, and perhaps the dead want it remembered. Eyam is not your typical haunted village. It is a place of remembrance, of courage, of humanity at its most selfless. But when you walk its quiet lanes after dark, when the wind whispers past the cottages and the church bell tolls in the distance, you might just find you are not alone. If you have enjoyed this video into the haunted past of Eyam, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. What do you believe haunts the plague village? Leave your thoughts and ghost stories in the comments below. Until next time, sleep well.